What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Real Junkies. I'm your host, Farhan, here again with my man Vito, and it's still Black History Month. So if your movie is not drenched in melanin, like I said, you are not getting airwaves on here until March 1st. And since we've already covered a comedy, we've covered a fictional Black classic, I figured a film on Black history, real Black history, would need to get in the lineup at some point this month, which is why we're coming to you with a review of Judas and the Black Messiah, which I think most people have seen. It was a pretty popular movie when it came out in 2021. Got a Best Picture nomination, much deserved. And it follows the real life story of Fred Hampton and Bill O'Neill, specifically during the time period in which the FBI sent Bill O'Neill to infiltrate the Black Panther Party.
Hey, I gotta stop you.
And yeah.
Inspired by. So most of these events are
inspired by. But it is still it's essentially what happened with a little bit of a barbecue sauce put on it.
It's a little bit of the Hollywood magic on it.
Yeah. It's more or less what happened with a little bit of Hollywood barbecue sauce put on it. That's the best way I just want to stop,
dog, because before we even jump into it, I'm gonna jump towards the end of the movie.
Okay.
Lil Rel Howery.
Yo,
that's what I'm. So I honestly didn't even think about that shit until right now. Yeah. I'm like, yo, the shit was just so comical. Bill O'Neill sitting at the bar, and they got him like he's contemplating like, shit, do I do what they want me to do? Mm-hmm. And Lil Rel Howery's talking to the chick at the bar. He go, yeah, we should take this back to my apartment. She just gets up and walks away from the nigga. goes talk to Bill O'Neill. This nigga's in an open bar. She like asks the nigga what he do. I work for the FBI. She chuckled and then she stopped laughing. She's like, all right, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I think both of them was FBI agents. Lil Rel Howery and
the girl.
And the girl.
That actually would make sense.
But again, like I said, these are inspired by true events. So some of the scenes that we have with Bill O'Neill are not going to be as factual as we'd like them to be.
Yeah.
Some of the scenes with the Panthers and when I say this, I mean the conversations that they're having. Yeah. Probably didn't happen like that, or it may be a little bit dramatized. But like Farhan said, this is based off of a real events. I did not pay attention to the time frame. Was it? I thought it was like from 68 to 70.
It's in the late 60s. That much I know. Mid to late 60s.
Is after King died. Oh man, yes. We got a rest in peace, Jesse Jackson.
Rest in peace, Jesse Jackson for sure. We can take a moment for that one. R.I.P. Jesse Jackson, because that is big. That is something we need to acknowledge.
It's Black history right there.
That one needed to be acknowledged. R.I.P. teammate. Hey, real. That's real.
But I forgot what I was about to say. Go ahead, dog.
I didn't even mean for that to be a joke. That was real. Like,
I got what you were saying.
Legend, man. Dang.
How you said it threw me off because we don't usually acknowledge certain things.
Fair enough. But I do want to say though, getting back to the film, I do think even though yes, the Hollywood magic sprinkled on it, I think there was enough in this movie that tried to stay as true to real events as possible, to where even if you were unfamiliar with this entire story, with this entire real life event, you could watch this film and more or less walk away with a firm foundational understanding of what happened and what took place and who the major important players were and how things played out, right? You may need to go to a documentary to get the real with all the nitty details that this movie wasn't able to include. But I think you can walk away from this film with a fair, rounded understanding of what happened and what this, story really entails. One big, I'll say positive that I'll start out with is two performances. And those are the two lead characters. One, LaKeith Stanfield, and Daniel Kaluuya as Fred Hampton.
Issue with one of
them. I know you're going to have an issue with it, but I'm going to start with LaKeith Stanfield first. I think this movie does a phenomenal job of trying to help the audience understand the world from Bill O'Neill's perspective.
100%.
You may not agree with his mindset. You may not like his actions and how he decides to go about things in this film. But I think one of the best things this movie does is try to put you in his shoes. So even if you may not like his actions, you're understanding the world as he sees it. So then it informs and helps you to understand why he's doing the things the way he's doing them. Like I said, you may not like it, but I do like when movies do that, of look, here's a character that is flawed in many ways. Here's a character that has a lot of issues. And even though as an audience member, you may not like this character for their actions, I'm going to do as much as I can as a writer, as a director, as a storyteller to help you at least understand the world the way they see it, to help you understand why that is going to inform their actions throughout the course of this movie. And then you couple that level of writing and that level of storytelling with the actual performance LaKeith Stanfield gives, which is phenomenal. I think you have one of the best written characters in this movie, which is Bill O'Neill, even though he's my most hated character in this movie at the same time.
How? Nigga, did you not see? and I'm only saying that because
Yeah.
J. Edgar Hoover is in this bitch.
He has a scene or two.
I don't give a shit, bro. J. Edgar Hoover was probably one of the most despicable men in history, bro. Like, we always talk shit about Reagan, Nixon, all these other presidents that was racist pieces of shit. And people forget about I was about to name another president. People forget about how evil J. Edgar Hoover was.
Mhm.
Nigga hated blacks, he hated everybody, to be honest with you. If you weren't a fucking white man, he hated you. And he
Yeah.
hated you if you was a white man from fucking Italy, if you was a white man
Yeah.
from fucking he ain't like Jews either. This nigga did not like anybody. And he and they mentioned it, and I'm sorry to stop your point because
No,
you're
no,
going
no.
on a roll with the
That
actors.
my point was pretty much concluded on LaKeith. I mean, I was just gonna go to Fred Hampton, but I feel like you're about to go on a rant on that one in a minute, actually.
um, so he just did a lot of evil shit. Like J. Edgar Hoover did things that the presidents were scared of this man.
Yeah.
Presidents were scared of him. When he died, his office was cleaned out. They don't even know who did it, or they claiming they don't know who did it. They
Yeah, I'm
don't
about
know
to
if people
say that's what they told us. They don't know who
they
did
don't
it.
know if people that were loyal to him did it. They don't know if the president sent people in to do it. They don't know if the attorney general sent people to again,
Yeah.
attorney general at the time. I wanna say this was I think Robert Kennedy was still AG when he died. If I recall correctly, because I read a book on it's supposed to be the history of the FBI,
Mhm.
and the history of the FBI is the history of J. Edgar Hoover.
Mm.
This like he helped found the FBI. He was the first head of the FBI, and he was the director of the FBI for fucking 50, 60 years until he died.
And the first mission isn't to try to tackle actual real crime in America. It's let's
Well,
dismantle these
well, hold
black
on, hold on, hold
militants.
on, hold on, because it's a little older than that.
It's a little older than that?
But
Okay, fair, 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 fair.
he within his race again, and he said this in the movie. We don't know how those meetings actually happened, but he said these things publicly.
Yeah, I'm about to
That
say this isn't a secret.
not just about Fred Hampton and Black Panther Party. He said this about all of those black leaders: Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Jesse Jackson, any like Bobby said, anybody that was trying to lead at the time. He was saying they were a threat to democracy. They were socialists. They were communists. Um, anything that he could get people to go to world.
Mhm.
Um, so that's my biggest villain
Yeah.
for the
Yeah,
film.
yeah, okay, fair
And
enough.
then
If you're talking
and
about
then
most hated characters, I feel you on that.
and
I feel you on
then
that.
I'm gonna do the FBI because again
Here's the reason
they try to paint him. And this is one of the things that I'm
Yeah.
saying is like the inspired by thing because we don't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
the inner goings of the FBI at the time, how those
Mhm.
conversations went. We might see some official documents somewhere, but they kind of he was not meeting with this random FBI agent that may have a inside man
Yeah.
in the Black Panther Party. But they have a meeting and he's asking them like, how's your kids? So like you can already see when he initially asked him, the FBI agent, I forget his name, but he's played by
Roy Mitchell.
yeah, it was Jesse Plummet, right?
Yet played by your
Mhm.
notorious, routinely casted piece of shit, Jesse Plemons.
So, and he's taken aback by what he said. This is like, about my family. And he asked him he's asking him a bunch of questions. But then he asked
Yeah.
him one question that he's kind of like confused by. He's like, what will you do when your daughter brings home a black man and a Negro?
And he says she won't. That was the
And,
first thing he
and
said, yeah.
no, he kind of stuttered around it a bit. And
Yeah.
then he gave the answer that he wanted him to get. Because again, and I think they could have dug deeper into his feelings in it because they want you to say that he's reluctant to do what J. Edgar Hoover wants him to do, which is to kill Fred Hampton. But he eventually he gives up that answer. She wouldn't. Why? And he just keeps pushing the nigga. But
Yeah,
to dig, they could have dug a little bit deeper or not put it in there at all.
yeah,
Just the lengths that J. Edgar and again some of those FBI agents at the time were going through to get the mission done that he wanted them to do,
yeah.
and the consequences that may have been there. So you said LaKeith Stanfield. I actually do not like this nigga as an actor, but he had a great performance.
Really?
I
Okay.
cannot stand this nigga. I don't know why, honestly. I really don't.
A lot
Because
of his performances can be, like, a little, like, quirky and, like, very
'cause
eccentric,
I
so if that's
like
not your style, I
Sorry
do
to
get
Bother
that.
You. That's the name of the movie, right?
Oh, yeah,
Sorry
sorry
to
to
Bother
bother
You.
you.
I like Sorry to Bother You. In Atlanta, he's kind of don't really give a shit. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Jesse Plummer and then LaKeith Stanfield. And then after I go on my really, really brief rant about Daniel Kaluuya, because I've already hit this um, a number of times that I cannot stand these British black actors playing traditional African American characters when we have so many talented actors that don't get that shot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, and I only say that because he's a great actor,
He killed
but
this role. I ain't
there
gonna
were a
lie.
few scenes where he was speaking and you could tell that he's really trying to hide that accent.
Yeah.
And it was mainly when he was doing speeches.
Yeah.
When he was speeding, he's speeding it up, he's trying to speed through it, and that's when it really stuck out to me.
Mhm.
Um, and before I let you go on your breakdown, Daniel Kaluuya, I wanna give a shout out to it 2, there's a lot of black women in this film,
There's a few
but
black queens in here we can
it's
give
a lot
shout
there's
outs
a few
to.
black movies in here, but it's 2 that we really see that have kind of actually only one with a real prominent role.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not gonna do that because one of the points that I wanna make is
There's
that
2 that have a prominent role.
So I got the 2, they're both named Dominique that you're gonna say, but I don't think Dominique Thorne, who plays Riri in Ironheart, has a big of a role as, Fishback.
Dominique
So that's
Fishback. No,
that's why I
Dominique
took that back.
Fishback has the biggest role for
Yeah,
sure, but Dominique Thorne is an important character in this
yeah.
movie.
But
Yeah.
I wanted you to get your Daniel Kaluuya point out so I can bring up the Black Queens part of it because that's actually
Okay.
one of the scenes that
That's
I enjoy.
okay, man. I'll say because I don't disagree with your point about British black actors playing American characters, only because I agree with you that there's a lot of African American actors out there that don't get that shot. So I do agree with that take to an extent. Where I'm a differ is this is still acting at the end of the day. And the acting in its like rawest fundamental form is pretending to be something that you are not. So it's hard to then say like, oh, you have to be this in order to play this character. Now, there's certain roles that call for you to be from a certain demographic. Like, I would never want to see T'Challa played by someone from Australia. You know what I'm saying? Who
Well,
don't got
if
melanin
they're
in their skin.
okay.
Who don't got melanin in their skin. You know what I'm saying? I'd make that distinction. Like, there's just certain characters like you need to have a certain demographic background to play.
So again,
But I
he's
don't think
fine for the
that.
most part, but
Yeah, like
there
he
are
kills this
those
role, bro.
I ain't gonna say kill because, like I said, there are those points where and it is not just that one. When he's speaking slow, it doesn't come out at all, and I think those are
Yeah,
great, honestly, how he delivers
yeah,
those lines. But it's those lines when he's kinda I don't wanna say he's trying to rush through it, but it's sounding rushed because he's trying to follow the cadence that Fred
yeah,
Hampton did, and
yeah,
it just doesn't cross over well because
yeah,
he has to keep that accent down and in check so much.
yeah,
Like I said, if there was a and there are other actors that are as good, if not better, than Daniel Kaluuya that are Black American, and if they would have played that, it would have sounded so much better because they don't have to hide that accent. And
yeah,
you could have had a nigga from New York doing it, and it would have been better. And it's only because like that hint of British comes out.
yeah.
When they speak slow in movies, that's the only way I can tell most of the time that these motherfuckers is British because they speak so much slower than everybody else.
Yeah, versus, like, if they have to
So
speed up their
so like I
cadence,
said,
it's harder to
I
so
don't
I
hate
I
his
get what you're saying.
performance, but it could have been better with someone else.
I well, we'll never know that because we can't see anyone else play the role like that. Like that's pure speculation at that point. But I do see where you're coming from. I just think Daniel Kaluuya was one of the highlights of this movie, performance wise. Like, and I don't really think that we can definitively say someone could have came in and done a better job, considering how good of a job Daniel Kaluuya did with this role. Like he disappeared in this role in some scenes. Now, I'm with you on the scenes where he's giving like those grandiose public speeches, like in front of a crowd of people. But anyone who's seen a video of Fred Hampton speak in real life, like any video of the real Fred Hampton speaking, and then you watch Daniel Kaluuya's performance, you can tell Daniel Kaluuya studied this man very intently and got a lot of his mannerisms down, the way the cadence when he speaks, the way he communicates. Like Daniel Kaluuya did is as good of a job as I think you could disappearing into a role in this movie for a character that I can go and watch the real person, a video of the real person speak at any point. And if I do a side by side, I think Daniel Kaluuya did a good enough job to disappear in this role personally. I don't think he's the best performance in this movie. I still think that's LaKeith Stanfield just because he has more screen time, so he has more to work with.
100%.
But Daniel Kaluuya, I think, is a very close second. And if you had given Daniel Kaluuya more screen time as Fred Hampton, I think he could have easily taken the #1 spot. But that's just not what the script called for. So that was really what I just wanted to say. Someone had to defend Daniel Kaluuya as Fred Hampton on this show because I knew you weren't going to do it. So I had to come in and be the person to give him his flowers for the performance.
It was the title of it was titled beautifully too.
Yes, perfect title.
Messiah. That was a perfect title for this movie. Now to get into some of these scenes, bro, and I'm about to hit 2 of these scenes back to back to back.
Okay.
Or right back to back. When they was in class and he was teaching, and this nigga goes, "These niggas got rocket launchers."
These niggas got rocket launchers.
So part of the issue I have, and it's not with the it's more so with the script and everything because that was obviously placed in there to be a little tongue in cheek kind of chuckle moment for us.
Yeah,
but they try. There's a few points in here where they try to set him apart as he's not like these niggas.
Yeah,
he's not from. But at the beginning of the movie, he's like these niggas, bro.
Yeah.
He's a car thief. That's what he does. He steals cars. He goes around stealing cars. Now,
pretends to be a Fed to do it, which is a crazy strategy.
To a Fed to do it. He doesn't do it with a gun. He doesn't do it with a knife. And he explains why he does it that way. Because a lot of times a fucking badge is a lot scarier than a gun.
Yeah.
He explains why. You got an army behind you. Nobody about to fucking. Most people are not going to kill this cop coming in here doing this, and this.
Yeah.
They're just not going to do it, especially the FBI agent.
Yeah.
Again, and you see what these motherfuckers did when cops died. Even when cops didn't die, when cops just shot.
Even when cops just got shot. Yeah.
And that's not just this movie. That's, all look at Black History. Cops didn't even have to get shot for them to do something, for them to blow some shit up, for them to burn some shit down.
Yeah.
Because one of these niggas, so let me get back to the point I was trying to make, dog. And it's the Black Queen's part. He's trying to talk to the young lady in class, and she's obviously not interested in this nigga.
Yeah.
Keep talking to her. And what did he say? How do we talk about our sisters or something like that?
Oh yeah, I think Fred said something along the lines of like, these aren't just your sisters, they're your sisters in arms, you know what I'm saying? And they should be like treated as such. And then that's when Dominique Thorne came in and did the drill sergeant routine.
But it's, just that in itself, like, my nigga, she don't want you, bro.
Yeah,
like,
bro. And like
back. And
even that, like even before you get to that point, mind you, Bill O'Neill's an informant. He's been sent in by the FBI to essentially spy on the Black Panther Party and specifically Fred Hampton. Why are you trying to holler at anybody? knowing that's the situation you're in, why are you trying to get too close to anybody in here outside of Fred Hampton, who's your target?
Trying to get cheeks.
Yeah, bro, like, no, gang, like,
he don't care we don't care what's going on. He trying to get some buns.
Hey, look, man, thinking with the wrong head and the wrong time. Like, come on, bro.
You can see, again, we don't know if this was actual reaction, but we see how kind of upset he is by how he's being treated because of this.
Yeah.
Like 20 push-ups. Now, back in the day, niggas was a little smaller than we are now. You know? But 20 push-ups and you like, they trying to kill me.
Yeah, he went to Roy Mitchell, said something. These niggas ain't no terrorists, they terrorizing me.
That was one of the parts where I'm like, those 2 points where I was like, all right, this is kind of funny, but also like with the lasting message, she said no. Back the fuck away. Like, she didn't even say no. She's ignoring you. She's not.
Yeah, but she just wasn't acknowledging his presence at all. Honestly,
you interrupting the whole fucking class, dog. Back the fuck up. And then he got upset when he was called out for it. He said, "Stand up." This nigga put his feet on the chair.
Nah, Bill O'Neill was a nutcase throughout this movie. Wild Bill was the
Oh,
perfect nickname for him. Wild Bill was the perfect nickname, I think. And it's actually another thing about his performance I didn't bring up initially. You really see like the descent into madness his character goes through, like from scene to scene, and you see it start to
yeah.
slowly progress throughout every situation he encounters. You from paranoia to just more like internal moral conflict to regret to hesitancy. Like you see him go through these whole range of emotions to the point where by the time he gets to the end of the movie, like you kind of see him be like a shell of what he was. Like he's just
Yeah.
a person who's just kind of going along because he has to. And it kind of feels like he's lost all sense of like autonomy or like the ability to control who he wants to be as a person. He feels like I have to become this and I'm just this now because the situation calls for it and I don't know how to break out of it. I'm just doing things just because those are the circumstances I've been placed in now. And I think you referenced it earlier. I don't know if it was before we started recording or not, but you referenced when they actually at the end of this film they show the real interview from Eye on the Prize when the
Mhm.
real Bill O'Neill was interviewed, and he talks about. I think the interviewer asked him, "What will you say to your son when he asks you about your time period with the Black Panthers?" And he'll say, like, he said, "I'll tell him that I didn't just stand by. I was on the
I was
front
on the front
lines. I was
line.
a part of the fight." And it's like, yeah, as an op though, like you were on the front lines as an informant, like
So and I don't wanna defend him, but like you said, trying to give a little hopefully a little insight into this because in his mind, he was still for the liberation and the progress of Black people.
no,
I do
like I get what you're saying
in
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 mind, but
his
like you
mind,
literally
in his
weren't
mind.
though. You were
So
literally on the other
so
team.
one of the things we talked about before we got on, I said, I wonder what the Black Party Panther looked like at the time because we we're looking at it in a lens in the past.
Yeah.
So we know a lot of the truths. We know a lot of the lies that were
Mhm.
told. But at the time, how were those lies? How were the Black Panthers perceived as a whole? No, not
Yeah.
not only in in Chicago, but as a whole.
Just
Um,
nationwide, yeah.
in every location, we know they didn't show up the same.
Yeah.
So and they kind of do that where I got mad when they said this part. He's like, "Hey, the Black Panthers, they're just like the Ku Klux Klan."
Like not even
Roy Mitchell
close.
told him that. And I'm
Yeah.
looking, I'm like, yo, one of the next scenes, he goes to it wasn't the Klan, it was Sons of the Pride or something like that. But
Yeah.
a white supremacist group. And
Mhm.
he brings them in. He brings them into his organization. He goes
Yeah.
to the Puerto Ricans. He brings them into the organization. They had
Started the Rainbow
Rainbow
Coalition, yeah.
Coalition. And there it's crazy because a few months ago, or not even a few months ago, a few weeks ago, I just seen a TikTok about a Puerto Rican group.
Mhm.
I think he was Chinese. It was an Asian dude. I don't know if he's Chinese. It was an Asian dude inside of the Black Panthers. So
Mm.
you got they accepted everybody.
Yeah.
Their goal wasn't to get rid of Whitey. It wasn't to um I hate I hate the Puerto Ricans. I hate the Mexicans.
Their goal was to
It,
dismantle capitalism, really, if you really wanna look at it from a fundamental
well,
standpoint,
they
but
told us they said it was for the liberation of all people.
yeah.
That the liberation of all people. That's it. They want everybody to be free. And
Yeah.
like you said, that's part of it to because capitalism is a part of the reason where I should be so fucked up because
Yeah.
niggas do anything for money,
Yeah.
which we see Bill O'Neill doing.
Yeah.
And so, like you said, each meeting, every time he had a meeting with Roy Mitchell at the restaurant, you see him get a little deeper and deeper into it.
Yeah.
First, you see them eating there. He's ordering stuff. Then he's chowing down. They like, hey, you want some more of this? He's like, yeah. Call him over. He slides some money over. Their last meeting that they have at the restaurant, this nigga walk in his flashy ass suit.
Mhm.
He walk in like he Frank Lucas talking to the
Yes.
to niggas in there. What's going on, baby? What's going on, baby? Sitting
Yeah.
down. He like, yeah, y'all niggas gonna have to break me off some. So
Yeah.
it's just like he wanted it so bad. He was greedy. So not only was he greedy,
Absolutely.
he was a little stupid, and you believe in these lies that they telling. And also
Very gullible,
they
like
had him for fucking 6 years, you know?
yeah.
And
Yeah.
he didn't do what they wanted, So,
Yeah.
like I said, we do see him kinda try to get out of it, and they basically like, "Nigga, no.
No, it
You
ain't no
run, Imma come look for you, and you're
yeah.
gonna go to jail for the 18 plus the 5." You know? So it was that one, and I wrote a note about that. A nigga who wants money is dangerous. And
A
It's
nigga
not a
who
nigga
only
that
wants money is
yep,
dangerous.
it's not a
A
nigga
nigga
that
who
just
only
wants
wants
money, only wants
yeah,
money. I
yeah,
wrote this down too. Liberation of oppressed people
yeah,
everywhere.
yes, yes.
That was the
That was
goal.
essentially their goal, yes,
That was
that
the
was their
goal. That
goal.
was it. And the government at the time, you know, and because it wasn't just J. Edgar Hoover and the FBI, you know, they wanted this destroyed because and I think Frank Hampton, he said, you know, one of the lessons on the board was how do we win this? The people.
The people,
Educate the
yeah,
people. If the people don't want this, it is what it is. But if people do want this, give them the information, they'll do it themselves.
yeah.
Outside of that, I don't the only big takeaway I have for this is they had some long ass switchblades, dog.
Man,
Every
long
time
as hell, long
every
as
time
hell.
they was like, that bitch like this.
Man, I
Like
was
these
like, "Bro,
niggas
I don't
pulling
wanna
out
beef with y'all
swords,
niggas,
daggers.
bro." Did you bring out swords, daggers? Nah, they was yeah, those were Wolverine claws for sure.
Dog, every
Yeah, no, they
time.
wasn't playing. It is one scene we didn't talk about that actually, like, kinda makes me laugh every time I've seen this movie, and it's like 2 scenes back to back. It's the scene where Roy Mitchell's with the FBI, and they're, like, talking as if they understand black slang, but they, like, clearly don't.
To write the pamphlet, I actually
And
got
they're
that
trying to,
note
like,
right
write
here.
a pamphlet to try to pit the Black Panthers and the Crown Gang against each
Mhm.
other, which is a tactic the FBI used back then. They would create, like, fake information to try to pit certain groups against each other, even though these groups really had no reason to have issues. So, they, like, write out this entire, like I think it was, like, an excerpt that they put in, like, a news,
No, it
column or
was a
something.
legit pamphlet. It was
It
one
was a
sheet of
pamphlet, it
paper
was a
with
pamphlet. Yep, it was a pamphlet that they wrote out that they sent out, and, like, I think they left it, like, on the Crown's doorstep somewhere. Basically, like, dissing them, calling them Uncle Toms and all of that.
saying that they was gonna kill him,
And that
kill
they was gonna
anybody
kill
with
them,
him.
they was gonna blow what they said, they blow their watermelon head off, all types of stuff.
Mind you, they were the big probably one of the biggest gang and the Crowns are supposed to be the, Blackstone Rangers.
Yeah.
I don't know what their name is today. It's
Mhm,
'cause it's a bunch of offshoots as well, but they didn't I guess they didn't wanna give them the real name, so they called them the Crowns, but
mhm.
they were the biggest gang. Like, I think they said, like, it was over, like, 3,000-4,000 of them, and if
Wow.
you looked at the Black Panthers, it was not that many of them
There's not that
at all.
many. Yeah. Yeah, and then just those 2 scenes back to back of that scene of, like, the FBI trying to craft this together. And then the scene of the Crown member actually reading it and not catching on that, like, this was
Yeah.
clearly not written by anybody in the Black Panther Party if you actually understand that group and then understand what you're reading. And then especially at the end when they say dig in. You ain't never heard not nan black person in your life
Yeah.
say that in that context. That should have been the first dead giveaway. This was not written by y'all. But
And
like,
that's another giveaway to, like, how just stupid and racist the FBI was at the time.
yes.
Where 'cause one of the niggas he say, "Why don't we just have him help us write this?"
Yeah.
And he say, "No, what fun
Wow.
would that be?" And the one nigga like the nigga typing like, "No, I don't think they say dig in. I think it's just dig." He's like, "What do you know?"
No, I've definitely heard them say dig in before. Used it in a sentence.
Nigga did not use it in a sentence.
Didn't use it in a sentence at all.
He just said a bunch of other racist shit.
No, Roy Mitchell was probably the only FBI agent in this movie that was actually calculated. The rest of them were definitely slow. I'm not gonna lie. Roy Mitchell was the only FBI agent in this movie that I'm like, he's a threat because he actually thinks before he does shit. The rest of y'all are just doing shit.
Just doing shit.
Just doing shit. But he's a problem because he's gonna think through it first, which is gonna cause maximum impact, which is the problem. And then obviously getting into towards the end of this movie, we already referenced the scene at the bar, which was definitely one of my favorites in this movie, just the way that was thrown in there.
That was one of
But
your favorites? Okay, just 'cause it was just thrown in there. It was
just
just
because it was thrown in there like so randomly, like
you
that
know
movie,
why?
that scene just felt out of place almost.
They had one, they had to get a Chicago nigga in there.
Had to.
They said,
They had I think that's what it
they said,
was.
"Let's get a little real Howery, and let's do it
Yeah.
this way."
Yeah, no, when I say favorites, I'm not saying that's the best scene in the movie. It's not. But it was just a scene that I got a kick out of, just like, what the fuck is this doing here?
It was really random, and it
Yes.
didn't seem like it belonged into this movie.
Yes. It felt like it came out of left field. But really like the scene I really want to reference was the end, which to me, the ending scene is actually the most powerful movie, the actual most powerful scene in the movie for 2 reasons. One, Bill O'Neill. I'ma
Okay,
just
so you're
say
talking
that.
about the clip, right? Of the
The
real
the
interview?
entire ending scene from Bill being in there to
Okay,
him
I got you.
meeting, I'm forgetting the name of the other gentleman who passed away that day along with Fred. But from him
Who
meeting
was that
him,
Danny?
it was remember the
The
first
one
character
that
that was at the door, and when they first blasted through the door, and I'm
it
forgetting the name of the real life
yeah, I can't
person.
remember.
I'm forgetting the name of the real life person. I can probably look and find the actor's name real quick. Um, but from him meeting him to the way he maneuvered throughout that room, because you just saw how standoffish and quiet he was, to the way he was almost shaking when he was
Yeah,
standing in front of Fred, like asking him if he needed anything, to the way he walked out. And then from that to the FBI entering entering the home and firing, I think it was like almost 100 shots. Like that entire scene was like to me the most powerful thing in the whole movie. That was, and granted, we've already got a lot of powerful shit up to this point. But that ending scene, I think, captured the entirety of what this film was in a nutshell, like, which is just an overuse of force amongst threats that are only threats because you're threats to them. And that one scene captured that entire concept and theme perfectly to me. And then of course you get to the end of, dude hollering, "Hey, stop firing. We have a pregnant woman in here." Fred's obviously asleep at this point because he's been drugged. And then I don't know if this is exactly how it played out. It's like pretty similar to the account that the real Deborah Johnson gave, like when she was interviewed, is pretty close to the account she gave of that night, of the police saying, "Oh, he looks like he's gonna make it," firing 2 shots, and then saying he's good as dead now. And then I like that that was, as far as scenes with actual fictional characters and actors, I like that that was like the end. Like the film kind of ended at that point.
yeah.
And then everything you saw after that were real life clips of either Bill O'Neill and or Fred Hampton. I think that was the perfect last shot to have, because I think that was a good scene for the audience to sit with, to like really think about what they just watched. Because it's a thing to say like, "Oh yeah, the federal government assassinates its own citizens," but to really sit and think about a 21-year-old and a 19-year-old being in the midst of all that, because Deborah Johnson was 19 at the time, Fred Hampton was 21 at the time he passed. So to think about the FBI of all entities labeling a 21-year-old as such a threat that you would bypass all forms of actual civil rights and discourse, from locking him up and all that to straight assassinating him. I think just having that be the last scene and the last thing that was shown of those characters, I think was creative genius and definitely one of the best decisions this movie made as far as how it presented this story. Um, I'm trying. I'm debating on my rating for this, but I'm actually not really debating it because
I'm about to say,
I
you sure?
I'm really not, because I really don't have a lot of critiques of this movie outside of maybe that one scene that you were referring to, um, the scene with Lil Rel Howery, because it was like, where the fuck did that come from? That scene is probably my only critique of the movie, and I don't even think it's a bad scene. I just think it's out of place.
Still out of place.
Yeah, it's just very out of place.
Because that whole scene reads like a comedy
Yes,
and
yes.
in a very serious movie.
Like in a movie
So
that's so grounded and so heavy, you had this scene in here that just felt like it was an
yeah.
SNL skit, and it just felt it felt very out of place. But that scene aside, I think this movie is perfect in everything it needs to be. I think the performances are phenomenal. I think the storytelling is phenomenal. The writing is great. The way it depicts these real life events in a way that feels real and feels very grounded. And yes, it adds some Hollywood sensationalism to it, but it does really feel like I said at the beginning, like if you walk out of this film having not known about this entire event prior to watching it, I think you can walk away pretty well informed about who these real life people were and what their roles were in this whole ordeal. I'm gonna say this. I need an encore. This is an encore.
Mm.
Um, this is definitely one of my favorite movies of the 2020s that we've gotten. It's a film that I think that needs to be re-talked about and revisited every so often. I think I would like to get more films just about this time period in Black history, because I think we've had enough of the slave marching and getting our head cracked in, or any other just general form of Black struggle films that we can get. I think films that I feel like if you're gonna do Black struggle films from now on, I think doing it through the lens of people who are trying to fight for liberation in some of the most extreme ways possible is a little bit more of a refreshing take versus what we've been getting, me personally. Like if I'm gonna get a Black struggle movie, I would rather it be delivered to me like this, versus, because at least in this movie that we're fighting back. You know what I'm saying? Versus some of the other contexts that you usually get it, where it's pretty much a one-sided belt to ass type of situation. So yeah, encore for me.
I'm glad you said it that way, so I can say, like, this is still a struggle film,
It
you know?
is. It is. Yeah.
which I'm so sick of them. I can't do it. I actually never wanted to see this movie again, so I cannot give it an encore.
That's fair. That's
Second
fair.
time I've seen it, and I hope I never have to watch this movie again because it is a heavy film. I can't. I'm gonna have to go back to the old system and give it a number. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. I can't give it an encore, obviously. Standing
Standing
ovation.
ovation to me.
Standing ovation
Sound
would have
like
been and there's a few reasons for the set.
yeah.
And it's not even like there are things that are bad about the movie that I didn't like. Outside of outside of like those few clips of Daniel Kaluuya and Daniel Kaluuya being British.
Mhm.
I have no big real gripes with the film.
Yeah.
I do think there's a few things that could have been done differently that I again personally as a guy that likes movies, guy that likes movies based off inspired by true events. There's a few things that I wanted to see. 'Cause they show us a few different pictures throughout the film. They give us a few, historical marks. They talk about how Fred Hampton, his mom used to babysit, Emmett Till sometimes,
Mhm.
you know? So just so you know, like, how close this shit is to
Yeah.
this ain't history, bro. Like, this shit is still going on.
Yeah.
So, this shit is current still. Um there's a few things I want to see. So like when they call for the when they firebomb the head Black Panther headquarters.
Mhm.
I again it is not no real big gripes. I would have liked to see a photo of the building burned
The
at
actual
the time
building?
just to show
Okay.
and,
Yeah.
and again, I know they had photos during that time.
Yeah.
Of that it's photo somewhere of that building being on fire. There's just especially like those real heavy scenes
Mhm.
just to see a little more photos, a few actual clips. They
I actually think
sprinkle
that was a
in
really
the
good
Bill
idea.
O'Neill interviews, but it's LaKeith Stanfield
Yeah.
until the end of the
Until
movie,
the end when they show you the real
you know?
person, yeah.
And I think the first clip is LaKeith Stanfield, then it's Bill O'Neill.
Yeah, yeah.
I think sprinkling in a little more of the actual footage and actual photos of events that happened at the time, I think that really would have set it off a little bit more. Um, a 7 out of 10. Like I said, it's not a bad movie.
That's a polite applause at this
I
point.
have a it's not a polite, it's a little bit above polite,
That's a polite
but,
applause. A
I
7 out of 10 is a polite applause.
I have a
I'm slapping the rating on there for
I
you.
I have a real serious gripe about these British actors playing these, historical Black American characters.
Yeah.
And it's just I can't and I watch them again, I like Snowfall, but when you watch Snowfall and you watch fucking, uh what was his Frank you
Dan
watch
Franklin, yeah.
Franklin speak, and then you watch, what's his uncle's name? Uncle what?
Jerome.
You watch Jerome
Yeah,
speak,
put some respect on the greatest character
uh,
in the history of television.
teach your mans how to squabble.
Teach your mans how to squabble.
Hey, I just posted a clip on, Instagram, real quick tangent
I saw
before
it.
we log off.
I saw it.
I literally started watching fucking Snowfall because of that. Where the bitches? Supposed to be bitches. Where the bitches? Where the bitches?
That is my favorite character in TV show history. I
I
swear to God
literally,
it
'cause I'm like,
is.
I'm looking, I'm like, what's the context here?
Hey, I don't care
And
what
then
the context is,
when you
it's
see
funny
the
as hell.
context, you like, oh
I
shit.
get it. The context makes sense. I probably would have reacted the same way.
So that's my only issue with those those British actors. Like I said,
Yeah.
we have so many talented Black American actors that could have did that. And like you said, they might not have been as good. They might have been better. We just don't
But
know
we just
because
don't know.
that didn't
Yeah.
happen.
They weren't given that
Um
opportunity, so we don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do want to say, like you said, we didn't bring it up, which we literally said we need to mention this before we. It's a lot of talented Black people that were um that were involved in this film. See, Ryan
Yes.
Coogler is an executive producer.
Yep.
The Lucas twins helped write this film. Shaka King directed the film, and I want to say this was his first big motion picture film,
It was.
and
And
his
he hasn't
last
directed
because he
another one
hasn't done anything
since,
else. And I know
which
you
I
said
don't
it
think is a
like
mistake. I don't think that's a mistake. Hollywood was like, this boy just made an Oscar nominated movie about the Black Panther Party.
so
Hey, pull the plug.
I
Pull the
know you
bait.
said
No,
that, but
him.
the
Nothing
same
else from him.
bracket, we got it could be intentional,
I
but
feel like it's
it could
intentional.
also be intentional on his part. Like, maybe
Probably.
there's nothing else that
Yeah.
he wants to do. Because again, you can't go from this and then
To
go.
nothing. I agree.
I'm bringing Ryan Coogler back up. You can't do
Yeah.
this as like your first big film, and then go direct Black Panther.
Yeah.
You know,
well, you can. I mean, Ryan Coogler went from Fruitvale Station.
Ryan Coogler has a lot of shit though. Like he makes movies, you know.
Yeah.
And this isn't somebody that just makes movies.
Yeah.
You know? Or at least big movies like this.
Yeah.
Because Fruitvale Station is another movie I never have to see again.
Yeah, no, I'm never watching Fruitvale Station. That's a movie I'm actually never gonna watch again. Like straight up, never watching that again. But let us know you all's thoughts on Judas and the Black Messiah. Always continue to like, comment, subscribe. We do appreciate all the support. And until next time, this is The Real Junkies. Peace.